Hi everyone, and welcome to my Mortal Kombat 2021 review. I'll try to keep this fairly brief. The film overall, not very good. I'm not going to recommend it to anyone. I will go through some spoilers here and some ridiculousness in this film. And Mortal Kombat is a ridiculous video game.
Liu Kang wins.
The concept is out there, right? You have from the first storyline, there's Outworld, Earthrealm, Netherrealm, and Outworld wants to merge with Earthrealm. The Elder Gods, which rule everything, interfere by saying, Outworld, you can't do this, but if the only way we'll allow it is if you can beat Earth's champions in 10 straight Mortal Kombats, which are tournaments, fighting tournaments to the death. And the point of the first story, the first Mortal Kombat game, first film, is that Earth has lost 9 straight Mortal Kombats, and now we're on the 10th one. And if they don't win this, it's over. It's the end of everything. So the stakes are very high. In this film, there is a prophecy that Earth will win the 10th tournament. Shang Tsung, the sorcerer who works for the Emperor of Outworld, which is Shao Kahn, decides to skip the rules. The Elder Gods are lazy. We're just going to go and kill off Earthrealm's warriors now. And that way, we don't have to have a 10th tournament. We can just invade, which is absolutely stupid because you could literally just invade. If you're going to break the rules, why not just do that? Doesn't make any sense. So the opening scene takes place in the 1600s in Japan. Hanzo Hasashi, who has the mark on his forearm, a chosen one. This is new to the story. This is not from the video games or the old movie. He has a mark on his arm that says that he's one of Earth's champions. We learn that later. Bihan, from a rival clan, a Chinese clan, called the Lin Kuei, they attack and kill the Shirai Ryu with Hanzo Hasashi there. Hanzo Hasashi comes in, tries to save everyone. He doesn't. They're all dead. He fights Bihan and gets killed. Hanzo Hasashi burns up and goes to hell. After that, we visit our main protagonist, Cole Young, who's a washed-up MMA fighter at the end of his ropes, who has the mark on his chest. He's found by Jax, and Jax is a character from his special forces. Him alongside Sonya Blade have been looking for Earthrealm's champions after learning about this whole marking situation. Jax gets one on himself because he killed someone who had one before. That's a way it can transfer. The lore is explored very briefly in this film through exposition, title screen, and some pictures with Easter eggs, which really don't go into the depth that Mortal Kombat, at least the first storyline, should have. They really skip around it, and there isn't even a tournament in this film. Well, that's a bit of a problem in my opinion here. There's no explanation for why Scorpion goes to hell. It just happens, just burns up. And no other person who goes to hell, at least in this storyline, burns up. It's just him. Some big plot holes there. Okay, so throughout the film, the protagonists are learning to unlock something called their Arcana, which allows them to have power so they can fight in the tournament. It doesn't matter because Shang Tsung's sending his guys in anyway to fight them.
Almost like the studio couldn't afford another X-Men.
Earthrealm characters decide, here's a great plan, why don't we just teleport people and have fights on our terms so we can beat them ahead of time. Let's bring the tournament to them since they don't want to. Earthrealm's characters are victorious at the end. Shang Tsung goes back to Outworld, or is banished back to Outworld by Raiden, and promises or vows to come back with a vengeance with armies. Which means there's going to be no tournament under those circumstances. That's the basic plot. Characters in this film. Cole's family, pretty useless except for the scene against Goro where Cole's wife hits him with an axe. That was pretty awesome, and then she drives away, proving that Cole is actually more useless than his untrained wife. She's not a fighter as far as I know of this, but she had the brilliant idea to pull out an axe and at least stab the monster while he tries to punch it. I don't know. Anyway, Natara, her sole purpose in this is to get fatality'd, as I like to say, by Kung Lao. Reiko, his sole purpose is to get fatality'd by Jax. Melina, who doesn't get explored at all. None of her lore is in this. And her fight scenes are okay, but she does get pretty easily. Cabal, surprisingly, not a lot of stuff from him in the marketing, but I actually enjoyed him. Yeah, he talks a little too much, but he brought something to the table that the other Outworld characters did not, and I enjoyed Cabal. At least his powers and his fighting style was fairly accurate to the video game. Goro exists just to get fatality. And the writers really knew what they were doing with him. Shang Tsung talks too much, doesn't do enough. Jax was alright.
Yeah, these motherfuckers work.
I enjoyed the performance. I just wish there was a little more. Sonya was okay, but compared to her 1995 counterpart, badass and all business, no talk. I didn't really enjoy Sonya in this film. She felt kind of soft. Raiden, the most useless character in the whole film, from a plot standpoint, says he can't get involved.
The gods are forbidden from engaging in one realm's war against another.
Literally lets his characters, one of his best fighters, die. Insults characters who know nothing about this.
Is this what I have to work with?
Is responsible for the loss of the last 9 tournaments and still blames everyone else. No accountability. He just fucks up way too much in this film. Kung Lao. Kung Lao is the most accurate portrayal of a character in this film. He was great. Everything from the way he looked, to the personality and the fighting abilities, the moveset, even does straight blast like straight out of the video game. It was great. Liu Kang. I see what they were doing with Lou. He should have been the lead character. I don't know if I would have cast Ludi Lin in this. No offense to him as an actor, but compared to Robin Shou, who did the original, it's light years in difference. The original '95 portrayal of Liu Kang had so much more heart. He was a main character. He did what he was supposed to do for the audience, and it doesn't land the same way in this. Cool powers though. Kano. Standout character. I think everyone thought that because no one really cares for Kano except for Kano fighters or players, and he stood out so well. He was hilarious. But everyone unanimously has stated that Kano was the best thing about this film. Scorpion, Hanzo Asashi's opening scene, amazing, probably the best portion of the whole film. And then when he comes in as Scorpion later, nerfed. Scorpion should have been able to take on Sub-Zero one-on-one on his own. So of course they put Cole Young in because he's got to be the front and center. It's really shoved into your face, really force-fed. This is who you need to see, this character no one gives a shit about. So Scorpion versus Sub-Zero, when the actual fight finally happens, it's actually Cole Young versus Sub-Zero with some Scorpion in there. Sub-Zero also, from what we saw and we're expecting the standout performance of the whole film, Kano's was more so that we didn't expect it. Sub-Zero's was great because we saw it coming and it fulfilled on its promise. He was threatening, he was violent, he was everything I wanted out of Sub-Zero in the film. So that was great. And the actor who portrays him, Joe Taslim, I believe is how you say his name, phenomenal. Finally, Cole Young. Louis Tan, man, it's not you. But this character is garbage. No one likes him. I haven't seen anyone like him. If you do, you just need to play some Mortal Kombat and learn about the actual story, because it's way better. Cinematography, I like the way the film was shot. Action scenes were shot fairly well. There's some quick cutting in the main bulk of the action scenes when that part comes up. The final fight scene and the opening fight scene are so well done. I really enjoyed those. I could watch those over and over again on YouTube. Visual effects were really good. Didn't have any main issues with visual effects. Granted, they did work within their limitations, so I like that. Outworld doesn't look as good as it did in the original. It looks more like you're just walking through a desert.
This is Outworld, huh? Ah, I can see why they want to change the scenery.
I like the 95 Outworld better, and having that as the standard to compare it against, that's a bit of an issue, but overall the set design for things in this, they work for what they're supposed to be. I really like the bridge fight location for Jax versus Reiko. Problem is, we didn't really see much of that. I don't know why they didn't try to include more level-based arenas. Sonya fights Kano in her house, not the most, and then Cole fights Goro in the front yard. You can definitely tell there's some low-budget issues with that when they can't get the good locations. Music was At times the music just didn't fit. When Kung Lao says his name, there's this weird shift in music.
No offense, whoever you are.
The name is Kung Lao.
Okay, cool. A little off. And the 1995 Mortal Kombat theme is better than this entire fucking film. The main issue of this is the plot, as I mentioned before. The big problem is that where they come up with an excuse for things so that you don't question it doesn't pan out. The biggest one being Raiden not being able to interfere.
Elder gods are forbidden from engaging in one realm's war against another.
And then at the ending, after the final fight scene, Cole says to him,
I thought you said you couldn't get involved.
and Raiden just smiles at him. There is a portion of this where Raiden literally teleports everyone, Earthrealm and Outworld characters, to be able to fight each other. He could literally teleport Outworld characters off of a cliff, or to the edge, or put them in a Earthrealm favorable position for Earthrealm characters to win. I'm not saying that's what they should do because that'd be boring, but when you come up with this whole situation that Raiden can't get involved, when clearly he's just not doing anything, because his excuse for not getting involved is why Kung Lao died, why he was absent when Shang Tsung's characters were able to infiltrate the temple the second time. That's just plain lazy. This Raiden sucks. Christopher Lambert's portrayal of Raiden, much better. It set the tone for that. Obviously, the Mortal Kombat video games have come up with a better Raiden, who has made mistakes and errors here and there, yes, but it's led to real consequences later. Consequences that even Liu Kang, for instance, in the video games, he gets into a fight with Raiden. He ends up dying and distrusts Raiden. And he's resurrected and becomes part of NetherRealm. There's real story developed and real relationships with the characters in those. And the first film in 1995 did that. Now, people will say, oh, this is better than Annihilation. Everything is better than Annihilation. Why are you making that a comparison? It's 2021, okay? 1995 was a long time ago, okay? What, 26 years we're looking at now? So in 26 years, you're telling me with a better budget, better technology, better craftsmanship and filmmaking, you're going to make a film that's subpar compared to a film in 1995 that in a sense was a low budget film. Nah, that's just bullshit. Johnny Cage. Johnny Cage is my favorite character. I play a Scorpion in Johnny Cage when I'm playing Mortal Kombat, but Johnny Cage is my favorite character. When Lyndon Ashby portrayed him in the film in 1995, I remember how excited I was as a kid. I can remember pretending to like punch and kick and do all this stuff, like try to do my own choreography as a kid just for fun, kicking in the air, wanting to be like Johnny Cage. They took him out of this, and they're promising to have him in the sequel. It doesn't matter if you do that. You decided to spit on the fans because you thought you could do it better when you clearly couldn't. There's a reason why Ed Boon and John Tobias haven't said anything really about this film. There's no real praise. Yes, Tobias said recently, that a lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into making this. It goes into every film. That's just a standard thing that happens. It's people working hard. So to the filmmakers behind this, everyone who worked on this cast and crew, appreciate your hard work. To the writers who butchered this and the studios that jumped in, fuck you. That's it. That's all I got. Fuck you. I want a good Mortal Kombat film. And yeah, it's a video game. I'd already said this earlier, or maybe I didn't in this version, but subverting your expectations because it's an intellectual property of a video game is nothing. We saw this with superhero movies when people said superhero movies versus regular movies, but now we have quality films involving superheroes. We can do the same with video game characters. If it's a good story, people will like it and it will do well. There are guaranteed ways to make a story work. And then there's Mortal Kombat 2021. Thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. I'll try to be doing more review videos more often. I've just been caught up with a lot of stuff during the pandemic. That's not an excuse, that's just the reality. So I'm going to make an effort to review more things in a more fun way for all of you. This is Rando Reviews, and you'll see me in the next video.